Okay, so I'm getting ready to open the door and see which direction they go when they get up this morning. Well, some of them went the right way and some of them went the wrong way. Now here they come through the gate, trying to find where the scratch actually is. So here we go, kids. Yeah, look how pretty they are this morning. Oh, they were so ready to get out. It's going to be almost 70 degrees again today. We're going to have a beautiful day today, and we're going to have a beautiful day tomorrow. Yes, we are. They clean it up. So now that they're taking care of the outside and getting all that cleaned up, I'm going to come inside and show you exactly what I do in order to keep these girls laying eggs, as many as I can every day, so that I can keep the community in eggs. So this is a, I don't know, a 5-pound feeder, maybe bigger than that. I don't know. It's pretty huge, and I usually have that pretty full. You can see they've eaten it down this morning, and then I've got 2 more feeders on the other side of the barn. Just a moment. So these are 2 more feeders that I have egg layer in, and that one says it's a 7-pound. So if that's a 7-pound feeder on the right, I know that that other one is way bigger than that, because this one will take about 1.5 of my big scoops to fill each one of these, and then I usually take 3 or 4 scoops to fill the other one, so depending on how full it is. So they have to have, of course, I've got almost 100 chickens, and they like eating all day long. Now, they don't have to have feed all day long, but they have to scratch, and they have to be picking at something all day long, or they're not happy. They'll sit for a while and rest, and then they'll get up and they'll move around again. And I don't know if you see Jill over here, but she's moving around really good this morning. It looks like she's ready for her scratch and her food. Look at her. She looks like a normal, regular chicken. And that's just wonderful, because, boy, she sure hadn't been doing that for a while, and I am so happy to see it. So happy to see it. And it looks like the baby bunnies are still in their bed this morning, and it's almost 10 o'clock. Mama's down there, though. She's got plenty of straw, plenty of hay, plenty of feed. She's eating, looks like she's eating straw this morning, because her feed is over there pretty close to the baby box. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's like, I put it right, let's see, right there is her feed. And those babies are still tired. They're not quite woke up yet this morning. So here's my light timer, and I have it on, as you can tell, from 5 o'clock to almost 7 o'clock. And 5 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock in the evening. That'll give them plenty of light during the day to have their internal clock turning the light switch on inside of their body, telling them, okay, let's lay eggs today, because we got plenty of light. So I have 3 hens in here laying their eggs, and I've got one standing there waiting her turn. If you can tell, you can probably tell. Up here I have 2 LED shop lights that plug in. And those are the ones that's on the timer over here that I just showed you. So those come on at 5:30 in the morning. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good egg laying day today. We've already got 3 eggs here. We've got one of the sapphire gems in her favorite nest. And there's nobody else in this upper deck nest box. There's one that looks like a Delaware that's right there, hen. And then I've got, looks like 2 eggs in the front of this one, and a hen wanting to lay in that one. She's got scared off of her nest. And then this one, I got one in here. She's laying. And above them, as you can see, I have another automatic light right here that's set at the same time. It looks kind of bad because they get up on top of there and they poop down, and there's really nothing you can do about it. You clean it off one day and it's right back in 2 minutes. And then, as you can also see, there's a nice bright LED that's right there in the rafters that keeps this side of the barn bright. On this side of the barn, the timer is in the front of the barn, so it's got a cord that goes from there to here, but I've got another one right here above the rabbits. And so those lights are the ones that all come on pretty much at the same time and go off pretty much at the same time. So they need 12 to 14 hours worth of daylight in order to be able to lay every day. If you notice these 2 white hens right here, see how short their comb is? It's very short. See how much feathers they have on their feet? These hens are better off in the winter time. They are bred to be that way. Their combs don't freeze. They've got plenty of heat inside. They have, actually, these are Brahmas, and they have like a triple feather. So each feather has the long feather, but it's got a short down feather on each side of the same feather shaft. So they are plenty warm in the winter, and they actually lay more in the winter than they do in the summer, and they lay great big eggs. Now, if you look at these 2 right here, they have the taller combs. Well, all of these have the taller combs. And so they are summer layers. And you can get them to lay in the wintertime if you keep the heat up, or at least keep them warm enough inside of a barn where they don't get so cold that their top notch, their combs freeze. If their combs freeze, they're just not good for anything because they're just too cold. They're just too cold. So what you do is you keep the door shut in those days, and I keep a little heater going. I'll go back in there and show you it. I keep a little heater going whenever it's below 0. When it's in the negative digits, I will leave the door closed and I'll leave that on. And another thing that's imperative is water. See how much these chickens drink. If they have good water that's not frozen, they also need that to lay. Because if you look at how big their body is, or how actually small their body is, because in those feathers, it's just a small little body. Those feathers just are really, really fluffy and make them look like they're really, really big, but they're just not. Those feathers are like insulation. It's like our windows that have, like the gas and the air in between 2 windows that keep your house warmer. Well, that's what happens there. Their feathers and their down keeps their body heat from escaping and keeps the cold weather out. They preen themselves every day, and they have an oil gland in their vent area, right on top of their tail. And that oil, they'll oil their outside of their feathers and keep their feathers from penetrating any water or air or cold or anything like that. That's how they can withstand the the weather so much better than most other animals. This little girl remembers yesterday I had a jug of milk, half a jug of milk that went bad. So I brought it out here to the shop and waited for it to separate. And once it curdled, it's curds and whey. So that is healthy for chickens, not necessarily for adults without it being done just right, treated exactly right. But she's standing there eating that straw. You can see she's just eating that wheat straw. That is so healthy for them. It gives them fiber. It gives them so many minerals and things that they need in their system. And that's exactly what they're doing. And if you see how fluffy they are, this one right here, her name is Sassy. She is I think she's a Cochin, I think. And she's got the feathers on her feet, and her feathers are just soft. I mean, they're not like normal chicken feathers. You can pet her and she is just, oh my goodness, she just feels so soft. You can just cuddle right up to her and just love on her, and she doesn't like it too much. But occasionally you can get her and she'll be still long enough for just a little bit where you can do that. So the scratch is all eaten out here, and you can also tell that they haven't given up. They are still looking for anything that they can find that's just a tiny little morsel. So in doing that, they walk around. They're like this one right here, looking, up, down, moving, looking. Did I get one here? Well, maybe not. So let me just kind of scratch that area and see if something might have fallen down in there. And that's what keeps their eggs moving. If they sit in the barn and they don't do anything except for just sit there all day, their eggs aren't going to move, and they're going to die because they're going to get egg bound. They're not going to keep their weight off. They're not going to keep their system moving. They're not going to be eating in order to be able to get nutrition for having eggs, laying an egg a day. It's like having a baby every single day. That's exactly what it's like. And they just do it all day long. It's what they want to do. So some people, and I've had this a lot, come to my house and say, well, my chickens are not laying right now, so I need to buy your eggs. Well, how do you keep your chickens laying? Well, as you can tell, there's a lot of things that you have to do. You can have chickens that are in a small little area and have no resources to find food. They're just looking all day, and they can't find anything that's nutritious. They just have like dirt, and that's it. And if you have chickens like that, they're not, and you just throw them out a little bit of feed in the morning, and you throw them out a little bit of feed in the afternoon, which they used to just do that in the olden days. But in the olden days, they also had great big yards, and the chickens were loose in the yard, so they could find all kinds of stuff. I had a hen get out yesterday, and she actually worked the other side of this fence line so good that I was almost hesitant. Well, I actually was hesitant to let her back in because she was doing a really good job. And I was really pleased with her. If you can look right here, I'm going to open this gate and show you what she did. All of these leaves right here, where you can see she pulled them out and see the dirt. All of these leaves looked just like this, where it was just where the wind had put it. And if you can see all the way down this fence line right here, she did the same thing all the way down to, let's see, I pulled some of this out right here just to see if they would poke their heads through there and get stuff on this side of the fence. And they did. But if you can see how she's pulled all the leaves away and eaten the bugs that were underneath the fence or underneath the leaves. Now, if you look down here, this is actually where I found her was on the other side. I think she flew over right here because she did not want to go back in up there where they get out. That's where they know that they got out, and that's where they think they're supposed to go back. But if I would have done that, I would have had to let all the other chickens out and then had a real mess to get them all back in. But you can see how she pulled all these leaves out here, this big pile of leaves. I don't know if you can see how big a pile of leaves that is that she pulled out. And then you can see the difference in those leaves and these leaves that have been untouched. So sometimes it's kind of fun to just let a few of them out and let them go do that. When I'm creating these videos, I really don't know what you can see because my cell phone screen is not big enough for a grandma to be able to see what it even looks like. But this used to be about 3 inches of nothing but just a carpet of weeds and grass. And they have gotten it so well. They've just pulled and pulled and pulled that dirt around and around and around and made those leaves almost like mulch. It is so different than what it was. This is what they have to do all day long in order to be able to lay an egg. Just walk around and then rest a while. And then walk around and then rest a while. This little guy right here, he's another one of our hatchlings. He's about a year old. He's several different things. He's part Appenzeller Spitzhoben. He looks like he's part Easter egger, and he looks like he's part Moran. So I'm not really sure how all that happened, but he's a different looking one. He was the youngest for a while, and the one that the older ones picked on until he became of age, I guess, and proved to them that he was worthy of living here. The roosters especially, they do not like any hen that's not laying. They don't like a hen that's not well. They don't like a hen that has any kind of issue at all. If they're not a part of the flock and they're not producing, they'll kill them sometimes. They will just absolutely kill them. They tell them what to do, where to go. They have their own girls, like these girls that's around him are his girls. And those girls that's around the rooster right here are his girls. And they'll drag that wing, one wing, in kind of a circle to tell those girls where he wants them to be and where he wants them to go. And if he wants them to move out, then they're moving out. He's the boss. And if he tries to tell his girls what to do, he'll run and jump on him and he will flog him. These are my girls. You don't tell my girls what to do. I tell my girls what to do. Yeah, he's got one of those weird combs too. One of those combs that's, I think that's the Appenzeller Spitzhoben comb, because I don't even know what those combs really look like. They've got that top notch, and you can't even see the comb underneath there. So he doesn't have that, but he has the short comb. He's getting ready to tell her what to do. She said, "No, I don't think so." See, there he goes, showing her. Nope, you don't go over there. You go over here. Body language is a lot with chickens. I mean, it's a lot. So these are all still working. These are all preening. These are plumping up their feathers. They're reaching in the back around their tail area, and they're getting the oil gland, and they are getting that oil on their skin, and they're getting it on their feathers. Look how beautiful that one is. Oh my goodness, she's so pretty. Look at the rooster behind her. Oh my goodness, they're so beautiful. You know, you can always tell too if a chicken is healthy. They have to also be healthy to lay eggs. And you can just look at a flock and you can see whether they're healthy by really looking at their comb and looking at their butt. If their butt is got poop on it or around it or dripping off of it, which sounds gross, I know, you can tell that that chicken is not healthy. If it's not standing right, if it's not walking right, if it's not out around the rest of them, or they're picking on it, there's something wrong with that chicken, and you better look at it and see what's wrong with it, if it's egg bound or just exactly what it is. See how beautiful they are? Look at that. See, now he's getting some oil. Now he's going to start, and then she's going to start preening. See, they need all that body movement just to keep their eggs going. And they may look like they're not doing anything. They may look like they're resting. They are not resting. They're still working. They're working their bodies. They're trying to keep their bodies healthy. I wish people would do that. I wish people knew what was wrong with them and would do something to actually make themselves, like exercise. If you're stiff and sore and aching, they say that exercise is the best thing for you, as long as like you don't have some really serious problem. Get up and move around. Do something. Even if it's wrong, do it. Well, not if it's wrong, but you know what I'm saying. Look at that. He's beautiful. His name is Mo. He got it because of his hair, his hairstyle. I think he's the daddy of that rooster that I was telling you about that looks really weird. She's got kind of the end of his wings looks like this one. And like I said, I don't know what his comb looks like because it's under his mohawk up there. And look at her. She's so pretty. So fluffy. I had one like her. Her name was Fluff, and she was the sweetest girl. She raised so many babies, and she lived a long, long time. She was a sitter. She loved sitting on eggs, and she loved having babies. These are getting ready to do their dirt bathing. This is their favorite dirt right here. Either in that box up there on top or down here right below it. They love digging around the box. I think they start digging around the box because there's bugs down there. And then once they start digging into that dirt and they see how wonderful that dirt is, and it's like a little bit moist, a little bit dry, and sometimes it's hot and they like the moist dirt, and sometimes it's cold and they like the dry dirt. But they'll start dirt bathing, and oh, it just does them so good. Keeps all the little critters off of them and keeps them healthy. And I can't even imagine wanting a dirt bath, but they get that oil all over them, and then they get that dirt on them, and they're good to go. It's crazy, isn't it? Precious, precious chickens. So that's basically it. If that's what you want to do, is you want to have eggs, they have to have plenty of food, plenty of water, enough light in the day. They have to have the right climate. So the cold ones, well, some of them lay better in cold and some of them lay better in heat. They have to have a certain molting time. They can't get frightened. I brought my Great Pyrenees down here, and she was scared of them, and they were so scared of her that they quit laying for 2 days. And I took her right back to the house. I brought her down here for 2 minutes to introduce her to them, and I discovered that that's really not what we're going to do because we need eggs. So they can't be afraid. They have to have a good place to stay out of the cold, out of the wind, out of the rain, out of the elements that could give them some stress on their body. And if you finally learn what that magic little potion is to keep your chickens laying, then you need to follow that. But I'm just trying to give you what I have learned over my past 30 years of having chickens. You have to keep the ones that are not healthy away from the ones that are, because they'll either peck them to death or they'll catch whatever they have if it's something that goes from one to another. Look at these girls over here. Look at this. Look at them. Oh, they're so beautiful. This is going to be a good egg day, I can already tell. They are so happy. I mean, they are just so happy. That one's got a little bit of a dirty butt. Have to keep an eye on her. Some of them too, if they have a dirty butt, that's just because they've just not been eating right. Maybe some of them's not letting them at the feeder long enough or something. I don't know, but she's not looking. Her butt's not looking too good. Well, this is the last day of 2022, and it's been a good year for me. Everybody's looking back at their year, and I had a long career with the Oklahoma Military Department, and I retired the last day of March of this year. And I went from working as a state employee to working as a chicken employee. And I tell you what, if you're going to do any kind of a career change, that's the one to do. I had a lot of wonderful opportunities with the military department. I got to do so many things that I would have never got to do before. It was a great career. And finally, whenever I finally laid it down, it was time. And I discovered that not only was it time, but that was just the most wonderful thing one of the most wonderful things that's ever happened to me in my life. I have time to do what I want to do. I don't even know how I worked and got everything done. I guess I just did double time and just didn't realize it. But this is so rewarding. It's so much fun. It's calming. I can't tell you the difference in my personality from when I was working to now, because I seemed like I was keyed up a lot, and I was of course I'd have to get up at 4:30 in the morning and start my day then, and feed and water the chickens, and drive an hour to work, and then do a 10-hour day, and then come back and do my chickens again, and we had 4-day work weeks and 3 days off. But one of those days off, I had to just do absolutely nothing. I was exhausted. So now I can just work at my own pace. I can do my own thing. I can keep these chickens healthy and growing, and keep my flock populated, I guess would be a good word. Here we go. Starting in on the dirt bathing. And I went from that to the minute that I retired, I had something happen. I had a hitch in my get along, and I was in the ER 2 times that first week. And I got all of that situated, and I still had a pain in my back that I'd had in my back for years. And finally God released that, and so now I'm feeling better than I have felt in years. I mean, absolute years. And I don't know if it's because I'm not working or what, or if I'm living different or living better or living right. I'm just not sure. But I know that God has given me favor, and now I'm able to do so much more and less painful. And this has been one of the best years of my life, except for when my children were home. I miss them so much. And one of them works nights, and one of them lives in Colorado, so it's kind of hard to see either one of them. But next year I'm going to try a little bit harder, because this year I wasn't in good health to do anything. And I really feel like 2023 is going to be my year. I feel like God has blessed me with my health, and I think that I'm going to be able to just my goal for next year, now I'm getting into my resolution, my goal for next year is to lose a little bit of weight, walk a little bit better, because I don't walk well yet, but I will, and have a beautiful, wonderful garden that not only keeps me, but also my community and plenty of food for a while. And with my abundance, I'm planning on an abundance. I'm asking God for a miracle, for an abundance, because the last 2 years of my garden was not really anything, but I really didn't have time for it either. So this year I'm going to dedicate a lot of time to my house and cleaning up everything that I want to clean up, and throw away everything I want to throw away, and do all of my she won that one. And do all of my what am I trying to say? I'm cleaning out closets and organizing. That's what I'm doing. I'm organizing my house. So once I get my house organized and to where I can just mentally let it go for a while, then I'm going to focus on, like yesterday, I sat with my seed catalog. Oh, I was in heaven. Oh, I started writing down everything that I wanted, and I went through the seeds that I already have, and I am planning my garden, and I'm so excited for it. I have to figure which direction. I think it's east to west. I talked to my sister, and she said east to west, so we're going to do east to west instead of north to south, and I did that with my okra this year, and they did pretty good. Even though nothing else worked, my okra worked pretty good. Not good like it usually does, but it was pretty good. I think I need to thin it out a little bit more next year. I just hated to thin it out because I was so afraid that something would happen and it would die. Some of it would die, and I don't like spots or skips or whatever you call them. But as you can tell, I left those there because that gives the chickens some cover from animals in the air. So it won't be too much longer. I'll pull all of those out probably in February. I'm going to leave everything alone in January, and I'll probably pull them out in February, and that'll give them plenty of time to get those bugs uprooted out of those roots, and they'll do a little bit of dust bathing and stuff like that there, because the dirt will be a little bit looser. So we'll do that, and then I'm going to just let them out of the garden and get going on the garden. I've got a rototiller, and I'm planning on putting corn down here, and I want to do loofahs this year. I'm so excited. I did loofahs one year, and they were totally all the way around my fence, and they were so much fun to watch. And you can eat them when they're young. They're kind of like a squash, and then in the end of the summer, the ones that you let get too big turn into loofahs, and you can use them as sponges and scratchers